Hi, Bruno here. Welcome to Spainguru. Recovering your Spanish long-term residence, a comprehensive guide. In this video, we delve into the evolving landscape of long-term residence recovery in Spain. This topic has undergone recent changes in its criteria, with adjustments made in the past year and again this year 2023, all aimed at simplifying the process of regaining long-term residency. We're talking about cases where a foreigner already has a long-term residence. They had a long-term residence, and the most common case is the typical scenario of a person who goes to their home country and stays outside of Spain for more than 1 year. In these cases, that long-term residence could have been lost or extinguished due to staying outside of Spain for more than a year continuously. In such cases, it is possible to recover that long-term residence card. What used to happen before was that immigration offices required the foreigner to apply for the card's extinguishment before they returned to Spain. Many times, foreigners unaware of this circumstance would go to the immigration office in Spain and request the recovery of their residence directly. Since the card was not extinguished, the office in Spain would extinguish it, obliging them to return to their home country and apply for a residence visa from there, effectively a recovery of long-term residence from their home country. Now, the immigration authorities have established a much simpler criterion for foreigners who want to recover this long-term residence. It essentially states that if you have been outside of Spain who want to for more than 1 year continuously and return to Spain as a tourist, you can directly go to the immigration office in Spain and request the recovery, even if the card has not been previously extinguished. You would need to provide a medical certificate, criminal record certificate or background check, an application form, and pay the fees. The immigration office will then extinguish the previous card and grant you a new one, without the need for the foreigner to return to their home country. This procedure offers greater simplicity and convenience. The new immigration office criteria makes it much easier for those who had a long-term residence to return to Spain. It's important to note that during this period of legal stay, you must be in a legal stay situation to request this long-term residence recovery much more straightforwardly. Once granted, you can enjoy a new long-term residence card. What are the applicable regulations? The regulation of this procedure is governed by Organic Law Number 4 of year 2000 of January 11th on the rights and freedoms of foreigners in Spain or social integration, specifically the Article 32. And if you go to the video description, you can find the link to this blog post with the links to this regulation. And of course, every law has a reglamento or specific regulation of that organic law, which of course impacts the way you do this procedure. Recovering long-term residence. The recovery of the ownership of a long-term residence permit can be done when you find yourself in any of these situations. When the long-term residence permit has expired due to an absence from the territory of the European Union for 12 consecutive months. Number 2. When the long-term residence permit has expired due to acquiring a long-term residence in another EU member state. Number 3. When a long-term resident foreigner returns to Spain after the end of their commitment not to return period. Requirements to recover the long-term residence. Number 1. Not be a citizen of the European Union member state, the European Economic Area, Switzerland, or a family member of citizens of these countries subject to the Union citizen regime. Number 2. Not be an irregular situation within Spanish territory. Number 3. Have possessed a long-term residence permit. Number 4. Lack of criminal records in Spain and in previous countries of residence for offenses existing under the Spanish law. Number 5, not be prohibited from entering Spain and not be listed as a rejectable within the territorial space of countries with which Spain has signed an agreement to that effect. Number 6, not suffer from any of the diseases that may have serious public health implications as specified in the 2005 International Health Regulations. And if you need a medical certificate, of course you can find it on spainguru.es. What documentation is required for a long-term residency recovery? Well, first of all, you need to complete and sign the application form in the official format EX11 in duplicate by the foreign person who would like to apply. Second, copy of a complete passport or travel document with a minimum validity of 4 months. Then, third, certificate of criminal record or equivalent document, if of legal age, issued by the authorities of the country of origin or the country or countries where the applicant has resided for the last 5 years. Number 4, the medical certificate, as we mentioned before. Number 5, the Model 790 Code 052, heading 2.6, which states long-term residence authorization and long-term residence UE authorization to be paid by the foreigner, and the fee in 2023 is about 22 euros. As an important note, when providing documents from other countries, they must be translated into Spanish or the co-official language of the territory where the application is submitted by a sworn translator. And of course, you can find sworn translations or sworn translators on spainguru.es. Furthermore, any foreign public document must be previously legalized by the Spanish consular office with jurisdiction in the country where the document was issued, or if applicable by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperations, except when the document has been apostilled by the competent authority of the issuing country in accordance with the Hague Convention of October 5, 1961. So if you are in the US or in the UK, you can find also services for apostilles. Just go on spainguru.es. Information about the procedure. The eligible individual to submit the application is the foreigner themselves. Where do I submit the long-term residence recovery application? The request for the recovery long-term residence authorization can be made. If you are outside of Spain, the application must be submitted at the Spanish diplomatic mission or consular office within whose jurisdiction you reside. And on Spainguru we have a couple of articles. If you reside in the US or in the UK, you can find the links to your specific consulate depending on its jurisdiction. This recovery application is directed to the foreigner's office of the province where you wish to establish your residence. Once the authorization is granted, the foreigner must apply for a residence visa at the competent diplomatic mission or consular office. They will issue the corresponding visa because you have regained the status of long-term residence authorization holder. Now, if you are in Spain, the application should be submitted within 3 months from your entry into the country at the immigration office corresponding to your place of residence where you intend to carry out your work activity. The processing period for the application is 3 months from the day following the date on which it was registered with the competent authority. If the administration has not notified the decision within this period, it can be assumed that the application has been approved by the administrative silence. If it is not possible to notify the resolution, it will be announced on the Single Edict Board TEU, and you can find that on the boe.es notificaciones. If electronic notification was chosen or it is legally required to use that method, the resolution will be notified by publication on the electronic headquarters. If you do not access the resolution within 10 business days from its publication, it will be considered as duly notified. The authorization becomes effective if you are in Spain from the notification of the resolution, and if you are not in Spain from the entry into national territory. Within 1 month from the effective date of the long-term residence authorization, the foreigner must personally apply for the foreigner identity card or TIE at the foreigner's office or police station in the province where the authorization was processed. At the time of fingerprinting or toma de huellas, the applicant will present their passport or travel document to confirm their identity and provide first the application for the foreigner identity card in official format, Form EX17, Second, proof of payment for the card fee, which as we said is around 22 euros in 2023. Third, 3 recent color photographs with a white background, passport sized. Holders of a long-term residence permit must apply for the renewal of the Foreign Identity Card or TIE every 5 years. The application must be submitted during the 60 natural days prior to the expiration date. If it is submitted later, the corresponding sanctioning procedure could be initiated.
Join Spainguru's community today. You can join our general Spanish immigration group and our dedicated groups for Spanish non-lucrative visa and Spanish digital nomad visa. Our groups together have more than 30,000 members. If you need expert professional advice, we got you covered. Just head to spainguru.es and check out our top menu. You'll find immigration experts, relocation agencies, tax advisors for Spanish and US filings, sworn translators, apostille services, consulate appointment services, and health insurance providers for all types of Spanish visa applications. That includes non-lucrative visa, golden visas, student visas, and digital nomad visas, as well as medical certificates for visa applications and travel health insurance. Finally, I highly recommend you join our weekly newsletter, which we send out every single Monday morning. You'll get tons of information, questions and answers, featured blog posts, and news updates. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.